Hello and welcome to my first webinar. Today we're going to be talking about life coaching, specifically the basics of life coaching and how you can be a successful life coach to your clients. So I'm just going to record my screen or share my screen and we'll get started. Okay. Perfect. So life coaching 101, let's just get right into it. So first I kind of want to talk about what is life coaching. And life coaching essentially is just helping someone move from where they are to where they want to be. As a life coach, you're just helping your clients strive to reach their goals. And you believe the client is the expert and you want to help them discover the answers and passion for life that they're looking for. And before we jump into the rest of this, I want to kind of differentiate life coaching and therapist because both are very different occupations. While both are very unique and important, they're not the same. So, life coaching, again, is kind of helping people who are ready to move forward in life and make goals and create a change for their future. While therapy, most of the time, is usually just working with people who have more deep rooted mental issue or mental health issues and trauma, and a therapist can diagnose and they have a license to do so, and they've also gone through a lot more schooling than a life coach, so they're both different in that sense. So now that we've got kind of the basics of life coaching down, we're going to talk about what kind of life coach do you want to be. So this is kind of the thing you should be thinking about if you're thinking about going into life coaching and being a life coach. This is the kind of thing you should be asking yourself and thinking about before you jump into it. Because I didn't realize there were so many different like niches of life coaching and just different categories that you could go into and specialize in. So just ask yourself, who do I want to help? What am I good at? And what do I have to offer? Usually, when you ask yourself these kinds of questions and do some self reflection, that can help you to kind of get a better understanding of what kind of work you want to do and how you want to help people. And usually, that'll help you figure out what kind of audience you want to reach. So there's quite a few different life coaching like niches. I got a couple of them from the coaching questions book, and so there's probably more, but these are just some examples. There's relationship coaching, which is pretty self-explanatory. There's parenting coaching, so you can coach a parent who may need help with a child. Business coaching, which is super interesting. You can coach someone with a small business who may need help moving forward with their business and reaching their goals in that aspect. There's group coaching. You can coach more than one person. Career coaching, organizing coaching, wellness coaching, book coaching, which I also didn't know was a thing and I think is really awesome. You can coach someone who wants to write a book and needs help with that. There's transformational coaching and there's emotion coaching, which is kind of digging deep into your emotions, recognizing your emotions, things like that. So, again, ask yourself, who do you want to help? What are you good at? What do you have to offer? What kind of audience do you want to reach? And kind of go from there, because that'll help you get started with the kind of life coach you want to be, the kind of people that you want to help, and things like that. So, it's really important. Next, how do you get started? So, if you feel like life coaching is a good path for you, the first step is to get certified. After, of course, you look into it and decide kind of what direction you want to go, you want to get certified because you have to get certified to be a life coach. So, start looking into different coaching schools. There are actually a lot of options out there. If you just do your research, some options may be more beneficial to you than others. So, go with what speaks to you specifically. Don't just go with, the first option that you come across. And then some options include that you can kind of look into on your own time are Christ Centered Coaches, Life Purpose Institute, the Life Coach School, Coactive Coaching, and of course, many more. Those are just a few that are bigger, and so look into those, look into some other options. There are lots out there. Figure out what's a good path for you to go down. And like I said, just do your research on different coaching schools, certifications, talk to other life coaches. That's a big thing, is talk to somebody who has gone through the process and find out what school did they go through, like what education did they have to get and training, how much did it cost, what did they like and dislike, and that'll kind of help you find out what's right for you as you take this journey. So now we're kind of gonna dive into proactive coaching. How you, once you are a coach, how you can be a good coach to your clients. Sorry, there's like a light. Just ignore that. But how you can be like a good coach to your clients and just be a successful coach. So to see real change in your clients and make sure they're getting the most out of your sessions, try using some of these resources and skills. Of course, there are a ton more out there. These are just a few that I think are really important, that would be important to maybe take notes on as you're going through this. The first one is SMART goals. And then there's active listening, open-ended questions, assessments, prepping for a session, and then life statement and finding a passion. These are all things that would be helpful for you to learn about before you start coaching people so that you can utilize them in a session. And they're all super, super impactful for using during a session when it's right. So let's just dive into these. First, we're going to talk about SMART goals. And this is probably something a lot of people have heard of because it can be applied to all aspects of life. It's just a really successful way of creating a goal. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So you want to ask yourself, is the goal specific? Is it specific enough? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Can I achieve this? Is it relevant to my time of life and to what I want to achieve? And is it time bound? And that's another important one, is to put a time stamp on it. Like, this is when I want to have this goal done by, so that I'm actually making progress towards it and I'm not putting it off. And so helping your clients make goals is an important factor of being a life coach, which I definitely agree with. I think when you meet with a client, you want to help them create goals. You want to help them create achievable goals as well. So I think following this step of the SMART goals acronym can be really helpful because it's easy to create a SMART goal. And it'll be super helpful for your client because it'll be something that they feel like they can take control of and achieve and see real progress with. So life coaches can help clients make strong goals to help them move towards the future they desire. Practice using SMART goals with your client that are specific and attainable and will help them manage their life towards the direction they want in a step-by-step manner as to not feel overwhelmed. And that's a big thing, I think, for a lot of people, myself included, is when I'm making a goal, I want it to be something that I feel like I can actually do, not something that I'm like, oh, well, this is a goal for years down the road, or this is a goal that I really want to achieve, but I just don't know if I can do it right now. So making it something that doesn't feel overwhelming, but it feels like it still pushes you to make some change, but it feels manageable, is, I think, the most important thing. And it's an important thing to help your client with too, because they are looking to you to help them not feel so overwhelmed. So yeah, highly recommend looking into SMART goals, learning about how to make proper SMART goals so that your client, you can use this with your client and feel ready to help them make and achieve goals. So next we're going to talk about open-ended questions. This is a key for life coaching because a lot of times we can use a lot of closed-ended questions that either have the answer within the question or they are assuming something. And closed-ended questions, usually clients can just answer with a simple yes or no. And with open-ended questions, they're questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. And it gets the client thinking about their answer. It allows space for you as the coach to understand the client better. And this will make a world of a difference if you can understand how to ask open-ended questions and what they are. because you don't want to go into a session with a client and asking them questions that they can just answer yes or no to, because then you're not really getting anywhere, and you're also, as the coach, not being able to understand the client well because you're not asking them the right kinds of questions. And a lot of questions will come intuitively during the session if you're prepared for it, but just being aware and being careful not to ask questions that don't lead anywhere. So some examples of open-ended questions can be, tell me more about that. How do you feel about that? What do you see for yourself in 6 months? How do you think that could improve? So questions that get the client thinking, it gets the wheels turning in their head. Okay, what can I do to improve? What is best for me? How am I feeling about this specific situation right now? And then once they kind of open up about that, it starts this like kind of domino effect of questions and answers and reflection, and that's really helpful for you and for the client. Active listening is another important one that is very important in order to be a successful coach for your client. And we want to be a successful coach for our clients because we want them to recommend us and to feel like they're actually getting something out of these sessions that they're paying for. And I think too often we can listen to someone without really listening to them. I know that I am at fault of that many times. We can hear the words somebody's saying, but not really hear them. So, as a life coach, it's important to gain a deeper level of listening to truly understand what's being said by the client. Active listening requires going beyond the surface of words to get a better understanding of your client. So, practice active listening by focusing on body language, eyes, and ears towards the client. So your whole self is focused solely on the client during your session and what they're saying, how they're saying it, how they're feeling about what they're saying, their body language. It really is like an active process. You're taking action to listen. It's not just sitting there and hearing the words go into your ears. It's a real action. You're taking steps to make them feel like they're being heard, but also actually hearing them. So allow them to feel allow them to feel heard and seen without interjecting. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice, and what they're saying. And this is super important, and it can be hard, which is why it takes practice. Um, and it's something you have to really work on because it can be hard to listen to somebody and pick up on everything that's like being said to you. But it's important to focus your whole body on them and take in what they're saying and just try your best to block out any other distractions. And also with active listening, it's important to not be thinking about what am I going to say next in response to them. You know, what can I say? What's an experience that I've had? Because that's a lot of I and not a lot about them. And active listening is about the person that you're listening to and intuitively listening to them. And of course, giving a response when the time comes, but not interjecting and not trying to share a bunch of yourself, just focusing it on the client. And that's kind of what life coaching in general is about, which is why active listening is super important because you can also pick up on a lot of things that you might have missed if you weren't actively listening to them. Another one is assessments. So assessments are really, I think they're kind of fun, and they're also really helpful to both you and your client because they can help you get to know your client a lot better. Certain assessments can be really helpful when needed as they open a new door for conversation. Assessments allow the client to think and learn more about themselves and in turn help the coach to understand the client's needs and who they are as a person. So it just gets the ball rolling for change and understand and communication. It opens up all these doors for you to look at the assessment that they filled out and be like, let me ask them about this, or what do they think about this, or why did they put this here? And a great resource for assessments is the Coactive Coaching Toolkit on the Coactive Coaching website. They have a bunch of different resources. I'm actually going to take you guys there right now and show you. continue to external site. Okay, so we just scroll down here. It's on coactive.com under coaching resources, and there's quite a few, as you can see, resources here. Some of the ones that I've used before is like the Wheel of Life exercise. And so it's this page, and you can print it out and fill it out with your client. And it gives you directions, like for the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life represents different aspects of your life, like career, family and friends, significant other and romance, fun and recreation, health, money, personal growth, and physical environment. And this is one I actually used with with my practice client. And I had her fill out the Wheel of Life and rate it 1 through 10 for each aspect of the wheel. And just to see if this wheel were on an actual vehicle, how would it look? Would it be bumpy? Would it be smooth? Would it be somewhere in between? And it's not to, um, place pressure or judgment on the client to think, oh, I'm not doing good in this area of my life. It's more about just kind of a reflection on where your satisfaction is, not about success, but about satisfaction. And so that's one of the really awesome ones that I've really liked to use. Oh, it took me out. Hold on, we're going back. Oh, technical difficulties. Um, sorry, just a moment. Okay, let's see if it'll let me go back. Okay, we're back. So that's the Wheel of Life. That one's really helpful to help your client understand kind of their satisfaction in each of those aspects of life. And it also helps you um, kind of get a conversation started going for a session. If your client's not sure what they want to talk about, you can have them fill out an assessment like the Wheel of Life and be like, okay, now you can pick one that you want to talk about today, and we can work on that. So that one's really good. There's the life purpose exercise. And this one kind of goes along with one of my other slides about life statement, life purpose. So you can also use this resource for that. And again, it's a thing you can fill out, and oh gosh, is it gonna let me? Okay, we're not gonna go back there. Okay. So anyways, you saw the website, and I'll leave a link down below too, so that if you want to access it there, you can. But those are just a few of the resources that are on that website that you can use, print out, give to your client either before the session, or they can fill it out during the session, and help you kind of get to know your client a little bit better and learn about maybe what they need more help with in life, or what they want to work on or focus on. um, and it gets a conversation going, it gets some understanding going between you and your client. And of course, there's other websites and other resources that you can go to for assessments. There are so many assessments like personality quizzes and things like that that you can also have your client fill out to just get to know them better. And so I think assessments can be really fun, and they can also be really helpful for a session. So now we're going to talk briefly about preparing for a session. And this is something that I think is really important because you want to feel prepared for a coaching session. And there are going to be days, like any other job, where you just don't feel great, or you're just not on your game, and it can just be a weird day. But um, and that's okay. It's okay to feel like that. But an important factor that can help you with this is to prepare for a session. Make time to do things like saying a prayer, setting up a notes page, and just overall preparing for the meeting ahead. If you know you've got a coaching meeting coming up, set aside some time to start with a prayer that you'll be inspired and guided throughout your session. Get your notes page ready. And I think a notes page is also really important because this helps you remember some things that were said in the coaching session, the goals that were made, the commitments, all that stuff, so that you can go back to it and look at it and come back in the next session and check up on them and see how are those things going. So if you as a life coach are taking time to prepare yourself and start with a clear mind and heart, then the client will feel the same energy and it will allow the session to flow smoothly. So if you're feeling good and prepared, then your client's going to feel good and prepared, and they're going to feel ready for this session just as much as you are, hopefully. But it is very helpful for you to prepare for a session. Of course, like I said, some days are going to be better than others, and that's okay. But it's good to get in the habit of being prepared for the session, especially saying a prayer and setting aside even just like 10 minutes before the session to prepare for it. And this will make a difference in your sessions, and your client will feel it, and they'll see that you are taking it seriously and that you really want to help them. So next we're going to talk about, this is our last topic, is the life statement. And before, you kind of saw that life purpose assessment. We didn't really go through it, but that kind of goes along with this. So a life statement is a way to help your client get a pathway for change. So helping the client discover what's really important to them in this season of life and how can they achieve that. As a life coach, you want to be able to help your clients discover their passion and desire for their life. So that's kind of what a life statement is. You're helping them come up with a statement that just rings true to them, something that they can say and be like, this is what I want. This is what I want to work towards. This is what I think would bring me true joy and something I'm passionate about. So get the life statement in motion by asking questions. That's the best way to get anything moving in a session, is to ask questions. And so with a life statement, you want it to be something that you're not feeding them. You want it to be something that they come up with, and with your help and your guidance, but something that they come up with, something that they feel like rings true to them and is a true statement. So you can ask them questions to get the ball rolling, like, what do you already know about yourself? And imagine yourself a year down the road. What do you see yourself doing? What roles have you taken in life that you feel have been the best fit for you? What do you really need and want in this season of life? And these are just a few questions that you can use as examples to get you started to think about what kinds of questions you can ask your client to help them come up with a life statement, a life purpose statement. Because as a client, you're coming to the coach because you want to discover more of your life purpose. You want to work towards that purpose, and you want to create goals that'll help you get there. And so having a life statement and helping your client come up with one can make a big difference, because then they will know that they have something to work towards, and they have a vision, a clear vision of like, this is what I want. And they can say it to themselves every day if they feel like it, and it can help them like put words to what they are really trying to accomplish. So that is another one that I think is super, super important. So those are all the topics that I have for you today about life coaching and about the basics of life coaching and how you can be a successful coach. Not so much like how you can be successful getting lots of clients, but how you can be successful with your clients, which I think is the most important aspect. Because if your clients feel like there's real change happening and they feel like they're getting something out of your sessions and that you're taking it seriously, and you want to see change and you want to help them, then that's going to make the world of a difference, and they're going to want to recommend you to other people, and they're going to tell other people, wow, this life coaching program, this life coach, like, I feel like I am getting something out of it. And that's how everyone wants to feel when they meet with a life coach or anyone. So work on SMART goals, work on assessments, work on preparing for a session. All of those things that I mentioned are going to give you a step up into life coaching. Of course, after you do your research and after you get the proper training, but you don't even have to get the proper training. I mean, I'm not a certified life coach yet, but I'm already working at these things and I'm already practicing these things because I know that when I do become a life coach and I start taking on potential clients, I'm gonna wanna have these up my sleeve. I'm gonna wanna be like, "You know what? I think they're really struggling with this. Let me help them make a SMART goal," or "Let me give them this assessment to get to know more about them before we start coaching so that I can learn more about this person and what they might need. Let me learn how to prepare for a session so that I feel like I'm in the right space of mind and peace to meet with this person today." Um, all of those things are crucial to life coaching and are really helpful and important to life coaching. So, yeah, I would just work on that. And that's how you get started. And if you feel overwhelmed by, and I don't want this to feel overwhelming because it shouldn't be scary. I mean, I know it can be scary, but don't feel overwhelmed by it because hold on. And I don't want this to feel overwhelming, all this information that I just quickly threw at you. I know it can seem like a lot, but take it step by step. Pick one of these things to work on and move from there. Or if you don't even know if life coaching is for you yet, then focus on researching more about it and look into one of those topics that I talked about, whether it's relationship coaching, emotion coaching, business coaching, whatever it may be. Think about what you're good at and go from there and look into it and then go with what feels right to you. And then once you're at that point, start looking into SMART goals, start looking into assessments, start looking into any of those things and practice them. Practice them with someone, practice them with a client. And that'll also give you a step up because then you'll be um, ready to meet with clients and you'll be able to see where that takes you and you'll be able to actually make an influence and change in someone's life that may really need it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. I will stop rambling on. But truly, 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 truly. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had something pop up. But truly, 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 start practicing those things now, even if you aren't a certified life coach yet. Because if that's something that you want to work towards, then having these things up your sleeve and being able to apply them to your sessions already from the get-go will be so, so awesome and will just be so helpful to you as a client. That or to you as a um, so having all of those things that I mentioned in my presentation today will be so, so helpful to you as a coach. Even if you're not a coach yet, um, start practicing those things now. They will give you a leg up and they will be so, so useful to you when you do become a coach and you start taking on clients. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you learned something new from that or you had a nice refresher. Or if you were looking into life coaching, I hope this um, persuaded you. So that's all I have. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys later.